Welcome back to another video. Today we'll be diving into why I think you should be excited about Brighter Shores and why I personally am. And then overall we'll just be going over the positives of the game that I see, and then some of the negatives that I think the game could use improvement on, and then overall just suggestions in general that I think will help this game. Without further ado, let's just dive right into the video. The first thing I have down is the frequent updates. We've been getting updates daily, if not weekly, and they're actually good updates, but I do expect this to slow down, but for now, the frequent updates we've been getting in communication is really good. Something else that I consider a pro is the free-to-play module. It doesn't seem to require a sub, and it gives a lot in the base game. Another pro for me is the player feedback seems to be heard. Developers show that they're actually listening and incorporating a lot of the player feedback. And it's not just any feedback, it's quality of life feedback and good ones that are being incorporated in the game. Another pro for me is the profession system. I know it's controversial, but the way that it works compared to skilling in normal MMOs, I think stands out. And I think that's one of the reasons that MMOs don't do so well nowadays, is because they feel the same. I do like it because it feels fresh, and it kind of gives you a reason to level up more each zone than having to wait for a level cap and then blasting through the content, running out of content, and not having anything to level afterwards. I do feel like if this is done right, you get more skills each zone, and you can dive into it without needing to reach that max level. And then on the other side, afterwards, you have more leveling to do, and it gives you more content in the end. Overall, I do think it accomplished the same goal as a normal skilling system, but I do think this is a bit better because it targets both active players who spend more time in the game, who want to min-max and level up their professions, while also catering to the people that don't have a lot of time. They are just able to get through the episode, get certain level, and then dive right into the new episode when it releases, and still access the same content. One thing that I think will make it better is just making sure all these professions can interact and having some type of end game for those hardcore players. An enjoyable pro that I wasn't expecting is the aesthetics. The music I find fantastic, it doesn't get annoying, it doesn't get repetitive, and the sound effects are well done, as well as the animations, which was a big surprise to me. The professional animations are really, really good and don't feel repetitive. It actually feels like they're all unique. A nice bonus is the AFK mode. The profession's passive activity just allows players to gain XP, 24 hours of XP stockpiled. Granted, it's on the small side, but for people like me who have to work, come home, take care of a child, it's nice to get those XP gains even though I'm not actively playing. And then the major one as well for me is the lack of FOMO, because I have a busy schedule, not having to log in just to get this event in a certain time frame or to just get these rewards within a day is very nice for me. So I do not miss games that have FOMO. So let's move on to the negatives or cons of the game. So the first con for me is the unpolished factions. It seems like it's going to be a cool system, but so far it doesn't really bring much to the table. And then some people are stuck looking like a bag of potato sacks with bones on them. So I'm hoping they improve on that. So another con is the chat system. When you leave a room, it puts you in a different instance. So the people you were talking with or you were crafting with, it resets when you leave and go back in. So it kind of breaks the community feel. But I have noticed that it's gotten better for me. So I'm not sure if everybody's still having the same issue, but that was something I noticed earlier in the game. Another con for me is the limited quarry master space. So you have to store your gear for each zone you're in, and right now it just doesn't feel like that's a lot of space that you get, especially when you're killing a lot of enemies and you have to store it. And my biggest con right now is the battle system. So the gear right now, it feels ineffective. At least earlier on it feels effective. It's very heavily RNG based, so like when I was using my legendary weapon, it was doing the same as my fist at one point, and the weaknesses, they're immune sometimes, but it deals the same amount of damage when you use something they're weak to. So I feel like your choice doesn't matter as much as it should. So I'm hoping to see improvement on that. And then moving on to suggestions that I have for the game, something I'd like to see is a player housing or guilds. It would add a sense of community and personalization while allowing people to be able to show off their houses or just interact better. And then another suggestion I have is improving the faction flexibility. Right now, as far as I'm aware, you're kind of stuck with the faction you choose, so maybe have a time lock with that to be able to allow people to switch their factions. And then for combat, I would suggest that they enhance it, make gear more impactful early on, maybe add a unique or special attack, and then just improve the weaknesses, make them feel more meaningful, while reducing the RNG to balance the combat better to make it feel like your weapons actually have meaning. And then finally, I just suggest reworking the XP potions and potions overall. The animation while you're in combat takes too long to use, so it feels ineffective. And then XP potions, just maybe let them stack a bit longer. But overall, those are my thoughts with the game. I think it's a great game. I think it has a bright future. Let me know what you think, and if you agree or disagree with what I've said. But go ahead and leave a comment. Thanks for watching, and see you next one.